What's the motherfucking deal, man? Welcome to the Den. I'm your host, Ed Honcho. I'm glad that you could join me this evening to be a part of the greatest conversation on the internet. And the reason why I say that the Den is the greatest, like what was it, Barnum? Was it Ringling Brothers? Was it Barnum and Bailey or Ringling Brothers? Who was the greatest show on earth? But I'm glad that you guys are here because of you wonderful people. You guys make this conversation what it is. Very interesting stuff, right? But not surprising. Situation has taken place where some footage has been, would you say, leaked? Or I don't know if it was, maybe supposed to be evidence until trial or whatever it may have been, but some additional footage in the George Floyd case has been released, and to be honest, it doesn't look really good on the side of anybody who is, pushing this as an extreme racial issue. So it's going to be very interesting. So, let's see who we have joining us. Which one of you wonderful people are joining us this evening? And I think there's something else I wanted to talk about too, but I can't think of it right now. So let's see who's joining us, and then let's get into some great conversation, right? I'm looking forward to it. Seems like it's been forever. Miss Bell, what's the motherfucker deal? How you doing this evening, Miss Bell? The lovely Mrs. Grace, how are you doing this evening, ma'am? Mr. Otis, OG Triple OG, Captain King Cool Keith in the building. What's the motherfucking deal? Mr. Keith, how you doing this evening, sir? Let's see. Infinity. Who said pimps can't reform? Shout out to Infinity. What's the motherfucking deal? The down to the Discord. Cultured, Mr. Cultured himself. What's the motherfucking deal? How are you doing this evening? Let's see. Marie Lovely, the lovely Miss Marie, what's the motherfucking deal, ma'am? How are you this evening? The lovely Jess Sarah in the building tonight. What's the motherfucking deal? How are you this evening, ma'am? LOLZ. Sounds like a new name. I don't think I've ever seen that before. What's the motherfucking deal? Welcome to the Den. Heidi. Bear emoji. Sounds like a new name. New to the Den, Heidi. I don't think we've ever had Heidi in here before. So, welcome to the Den. Glad you could join us. We always appreciate first timers. John from New York, my favorite New Yorker. What's the motherfucking deal? D. I'm still waiting on that video. The Gamma. How are you doing this evening, ma'am? Broderick. Sir House Brooks, how are you doing this evening, sir? And if I missed you, then I didn't dish you, not intentionally, at least, at the very least. So, man, a lot to talk about. Let's get into it. So, here's a thing, right, that a lot of people talked about when this situation first took place. Now, let me preface everything that I'm going to say by saying, could George Floyd's death still have been prevented? Absolutely. Does anything that happened prior to that warrant someone committing murder? No. Now, and this is the thing y'all gotta do. Y'all gotta make sure y'all listen to the words I use specifically, because a lot of times I choose certain words specifically to mean certain things, and depending on how you look at words, if you look at them for their specific meaning, or sometimes you like to generalize, you may misconstrue some of the things that I'm saying and the reason why I'm saying these things. Holly, how are you doing this evening, ma'am? And it's Kenneth. What's the motherfucking deal? So here's my thing, right? Now this situation changes things, boy, doesn't it? Not really, in my opinion, because shout out to Mr. Prepaid. He says something a lot about these cases. When they happen, is that you can overcharge somebody, right? And I think ultimately, like, if we're just gonna skip the bullshit, like, is Derek Chauvin gonna walk free? Absolutely. Because again, like I say, this whole thing started this crazy fucking movement, right? And I don't want to make light of anybody's death. That's not what I want to do. But I've been saying some things to some people. Maybe if you're in the Discord, you hear it. You can speak a little bit more freely in the Discord. Certain people I talk to, just in my day-to-day. And I said something that bothered me, right, about this whole thing. And I noticed it, like, early on, right? It was the store footage, I think, that was released. That
this movement's being guided, sir. Just not the direction some of us think.
7 minutes.
Only thing that will change is the time of day.
Shout out to Mr. Strong and Graham. Appreciate the love. Hope all is going well. Says the move is being guided, sir. Just not the direction some of us think. Only thing that will change is the time of day. Man, there's so much to talk about because I want to get to the BLM thing too. I'm glad you mentioned that. But like, there's a gap, and I'm going to be honest. From what you saw, sit here and say George Floyds, he was just resisting, like, no. But I mentioned myself, like, when the video first came out, I remember on stream, it was like, there were some little moments where it was kind of like, it wasn't 100% compliant, but at the same time, it wasn't so outrageous that, that something should have happened to him. And I questioned, like, how they got to that position. Because I saw when they were trying to put him in the car, and it was a little, it seemed to be a little bit difficult. But again, like, everything you kind of see from the video,
of course, the media seen the body cam. Seen that George Floyd was beat up, and they still proceeded to push the narrative. When the cops walk free, I'm going to enjoy a cocktail or 5.
That angle will be remembered throughout history. But it just, like, that little gap, right? Because the little gap of, we're trying to get him into the car, to now you see him, if I'm not mistaken, on the other side of the vehicle. And you have 4 officers, and there's like that gap, and I'm like, well, what the fuck took place, right? Like, what the fuck took place right there? Appreciate the love, prepayment. Y'all gotta forgive me when I be in my own little zone. I don't even look at the screen. Appreciate the love, prepay. Say, of course the media lies. Of course the media seen the body cam, seen that George Floyd was geeked up, and he still proceeded to push the narrative. When the cops walk free, I'm going to enjoy a cocktail. So yeah, and that's what I'm saying. That's what's going to happen. That's definitely what's going to happen. Because, and that's why I made the reference, like, when people say you can overcharge these people, and that's what happened. People were so excited to see, I guess, things happening, and like, they got a little overzealous, if you will. Now, funny thing that I did not know, that Derek Chauvin and his wife have also been charged with tax evasion. Apparently, failing to declare like almost $500,000 over the last few years. So there's that. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying that makes him a racist or anything, but I'm just saying I find it funny to stumble across that little that little nugget. But one thing is just like that. It's like, all of this stuff has been predicated because this has been a movement unlike anything we've seen, right? And again, like I say, I was feeling super fucked up because I was like, man, George Floyds had, he's had a king's death, like, paraded all across the country, just buried in the most lavish manner. And then you had guys like, John Lewis, whether you fuck with him or not, who actually, marched with civil rights leaders. And you had somebody else clocked out recently. Herman Cain. And again, I don't want to get out, and that's what I want to get into. I'm going to talk about some Black Lives Matter here in just a second. I want to talk about y'all's boy, who's the rapper, FBG Duck. I want to talk about that too. We're going to talk about Black Lives Matter here in just a second. But, I was just like, man, it was just so weird, right? Because all the things that came out around, old buddy, he apparently previously worked with the cop, and they had beef, and they were beefing in the club. These stories and these rumors that have just come about, like, unsubstantiated. I'm not even still 100% on the counterfeit thing, whether, it was counterfeit or not, regardless. It was just a lot of sketchy stuff. Not holding against him. Maybe people make a living doing it. Floyd had an adult entertainment career for a little bit, right? And just like kind of all these things that are just like, he had the criminal history. Yeah, and the pregnant lady, that's rough, you know what I mean? But you do your time, it is what it is. Then you try to move forward, which apparently he was trying to do. But it's just like all of these things, and for this to just be the one where the movement just takes off, and it's just all this crazy shit going on, right? And murals in fucking Baghdad and shit. And it's like, again, man, a life is a life. I don't care if it's the fucking, king of pop or the fucking homeless man who's, been that way for 20. Like, life is important. Period. Like, it's a precious thing. It holds value. I know nowadays we don't give a fuck. We want to kill everybody, and we've become so desensitized to shit. It doesn't matter, right? But it's just like, damn, the way this movement was fueled, the way it was pushed, the narrative, and then when you see these things, you're like, oh, yeah, maybe not so. It takes the wind out of the sails, right? But again, yeah, and again, exactly, culture. But, that's what I say. Naming is a name. What's in a name? So much is in a name. Like, you think about, what was it? What was it? What's his name's thing? Standard Oil. It's the standard for fucking oil. General Electric. You know what I'm saying? And just like these certain names of some of these great companies have had, historically in America. Like, it's such a basic ass name when you really think about it, right? Like a basic ass name. It means something when you really look at it, but you just heard it so much you really don't put it together. But you just, General, like, okay, cool. The same deal with Planned Parenthood. Same deal with fucking Black Lives Matter. But now, $2 billion about, from all these companies, I think recently have gone to Black Lives Matter, right? Has anybody held them to the fire as to what they're going to do with the money? As to, like, what's the plan? Like, you have an organization, you have a nonprofit. If you're taking funds, there has to be a goal, like, or something. And now I'm sure they've probably exceeded, any goal they could have ever had in mind. So what's the fucking plan? Like, what are you going to do now? You know what I'm saying? Like, what's the fucking plan now? You know what I'm saying? Oh, there is none. Where is the money, right? What neighborhood, what environment, who has benefited from Black Lives Matter money? You know what I'm saying? But I want to talk about Black Lives Matter. But I don't want to talk about the organization, because we have to specify. I want to talk about the phrase. And you know, I said I'm trying to minimize the use of the word black on black crime, right? Because you're most likely to be accosted by someone in your vicinity, someone you know, someone you relate to, and depending on where you're at, you know, it is what it is. Shout out to Strong and Gray, appreciate the love. You know, and I lost my train of thought. Yeah,
DNC
Black Lives Matter.
Eating good off that BLM money. Shrimp cocktails on Epstein Island.
I know for a minute there they weren't. Oh, buddy, right? They just got popped. The dude in Chicago, FBG Duck. Hopefully Rashida will call in and she can tell us about his music. But apparently he's been like an underground artist in Chicago for like 10 years. I've heard the name floated around here. I thought he was like part of those dudes I think out of Atlanta, Duct Tape. I think out of Atlanta. I thought he was, you know, one of them. I got them confused for a while. But anyway, underground dude basically got shot downtown. Apparently where I hear, you know, it's usually not like that. Usually all the violence is confined to what is it, the south side and the west side. Oh, I don't know. Okay, I'm apparently I'm guessing. Maybe, you know, somebody confirmed, but I know the south side is supposed to be bad, whatever else. I'm not from Chicago, I've never been to Chicago, but whatever. So people were shocked that it took place where it did, because I guess, you know, stuff usually don't go down like that, right? I've seen a lot of Chicago rappers. Again, not familiar with the scene. I know it. Yeah, I know it's a different breed out there, right? I know it. I've seen some things, but like I said, it's not my music, so I don't really care. I'm not hanging out there. They ain't got no ties to anything like that. But these motherfuckers get on live and they clowning the man. They talking about fucking. You know, that a man, you know, he was lacking, he couldn't get to his strap, how he was shaking, how he was down there woo-woo panicking, and, you know, like happy he was dead. It was black people, black men celebrating another black man's death, right? Oh, really? I don't know. Like I said, I don't know nothing about it. Like I saw people saying, you know, I saw one that said, like, you know what I mean, I don't wish people death on people, but that dude deserved it or something like that. Okay. See, like I said, I don't know all the details of what they got going. I heard it was a bunch of crazy stuff happening. But like I said, but I saw people, right, clowning. It was literally fighting like a sport. Damn. And they were like clowning his death, you know what I'm saying? Like they were like, oh, you know, woo, woo, you know, look at him, he was shaking, homie, you know, this. And not just other rappers or, you know, whatever he got, like, it was like fans, right? Even if you like somebody else's music, this is music. These are people who ain't got nothing to do with this shit. Just listen to some fucking music. You fucking get on Spotify, you catch the mixtape or whatever. Or if you're really getting your street credit up, getting it off that Piff or some shit. I don't even know if that Piff's still around. But it's like, you don't know these people. These people don't give a fuck about you. They'll probably pop you just as quick as they'll pop any one of these other motherfuckers if you lurking around looking suspicious, right? But these are people, regular people. Like laughing, clowning, oh, you know, because of somebody else that they're a fan of the music. Where the fuck, where's the Black Lives That Matters? Again, like this, I'm not even talking about the organization right now. I mean, like we can shit on the organization all day. We can make a channel directly shitting on Black Lives Matter stuff. I mean, honestly, it's just a lot of sketchy shit going on with that. I mean, that's not what I'm saying. But I'm talking about the actual phrase, Black Lives Matter. When do Black Lives matter to black people? You know what I'm saying? And I say this because, and I've said, y'all heard me say this before, and I'll say it again. This is the problem with black folks, niggas, is people, whoever, whatever, you know, comparison you want to make. When you sit here and not give a fuck about the black man killing the black man or the black woman killing the black woman, black people kill black people, period. Because it's all kind of mixtures or whatever. But you blow it out of proportion with a situation like what happened with Derek Chauvin and George Floyd. Because George said, I can't breathe before he ever hit the ground, right? So if you're saying that and you're standing upright and I'm not doing anything to you, you're going to be less likely to like believe you when you're saying it on the ground. Like, I don't know about y'all, man. I've seen when it comes to Muslims, maybe if you watch probably like Cops or any of these cop shows, I'm sure you've seen it too. People act fucking fool when it comes to getting like people will say and do anything to get out of getting arrested, right? So these cops have heard like 1,000 fucking things, you know what I'm saying? And now they're telling people, well, if you get stuck up, you get, you know, they're giving them new rules since the cops, but they're just funding the police, telling citizens to get your bitch ass stuck up. You better come off that shit because we ain't gonna be there. But now I say all of this going back to the FBG duck thing, right? Because, like I said, nobody cares. Everybody clowning. You know, it is what it is. Yeah. And it's not about him in particular, but again, this is like just an instance where it happens all the time. Ain't no march, ain't no nothing. You know, more kids getting popped, shot, killed, never had a chance at life. They're not in this shit. Nobody cares. But when you take it and you say, oh, well, black life and a black life, it don't matter. We want to talk about even the kids. But when you say a white life, it's not value that you're giving to the black life that got killed. It's not the black lives you're saying matter. You're just saying that you believe that the white life is more valuable. When you give no merit to the black, like you're comparing the value of the life that died to the person that killed it.
According to the ancient Mayan calendar.
Appreciate the love, Mr. Strong and Grand. And so, like, that's my thing. And so while you may think you're doing a good thing by pointing out these racial injustices that are just taking place every day, every minute, every hour, white people are really nice. Like, I'm still trying to figure that whole thing out, right? And I'm not over here, he's caping for the white people. I knew he was an Uncle Tom. It's not that. I'm just telling you the fucking environments that I've fucking been in, right? And, like, especially over the last few years, like, I've definitely lived around more white people than ever. Even when I was younger, like I said, I was in the class I was all in. I've never had a fucking issue. The one time that I had a direct, right, you know, I interrupted it and corrected it. Like, so like, I don't understand where all these crazy things are like taking place. People like really believe this crazy shit is taking place. Like, I really believe these are people who don't get out and actually like interact with other people. You know what I'm saying? And it concerns me. But I'm saying all of this to say, again, black lives don't matter until, you know, it's a white life that kills them or something like that. And so when, you know, when they jump on these trains, these parades, and now it's, but then you sit here and you ignore the others. Again, that's just you internally saying that, you know, you believe that white lives are more valuable. And that's why I say I don't get on these parades, I don't get on these trains, I don't get on behind the scenes, when you're streaming, it's a little fucking, there's like a video that'll play, like it's that like shows you what your stream is looking like. And I usually pause them like when the stream starts, because it's like no point, because I look at it through the streaming software. And where I paused it, early in the stream, I was kind of like, I don't know what you call it, just blowing smoke or whatever, but you know, when you kind of just deflating, or I don't know what you call it. But yeah, I paused it. It's a very, very crazy face. I'm going to see if I can save it and share it later. But here's the deal. I've been talking a whole lot. We got a time limit on this show. I'm going to open up the line. I want to know what y'all think. And then after the show, we'll get in the Discord. Because there's a few other things I want to speak on. Like I say, there's still a lot more to talk about. I think it should be very interesting to know what you guys think. Let's get it.
If I owned a plantation, Ed would def be inside heart.
Ever. It's the nicest thing you've ever said. Appreciate the love. I fucking hate you. Let me fucking cut this. Let me get the line together. You're a terrible person. Man. So, let me see. Yeah, we should be good for a day tomorrow. I think the sauce sports won't be tomorrow, but I think we should be good for the den. Man, while I'm doing this, you know what? Why didn't anybody tell me that what's that show? It ain't too bad. What's it called? Umbrella Academy. I like it. It's not too bad. Not too bad. Alright, give me just a second. I'm like a couple episodes in. I've been watching for the last few days. I got my issues with the talking monkey. And a couple other things, a couple of the little weird things going on in that show. But other than that, it's pretty entertaining so far. I normally don't like shit like that. But here's the thing. It's not about, and I'm not saying that, but again, like I said, I prefaced everything saying that it could have been prevented. Should what's his name be alive today? Yeah, unless it was a corona-related situation. Aside from that, but what I'm saying to sit here and base and just say, it was this big racist act, and he just took him out because he hated him. So like that changes that whole conversation. You know what I'm saying? Because this man was painted to be, the devil himself. Yeah, that's the dude's name. That's the dude's name, Zach TV. That was when he was covering that Kanisha Jenkins thing. They told him, to chill out with that shit. Let's see. Yeah, I don't care about that. All right, let's get some phone calls in. Let's get the Denline going. Bio number on the screen. Starch in my jeans. So fresh, so clean. Y'all don't know nothing about that. That was a great song. Ain't nobody don't have what? If you have a plantation of white people, how would you treat them? And would it be weird that they woke up before you? I would treat them like family. And they definitely wouldn't wake up before me. So there's that. See, that's why I hate you. I maybe lose track of my thoughts. Fucking, I didn't fix it. I knew I was lacking in something, so I got caught lacking. So the slaves are waking up at midnight, 1 o'clock in the morning. Anyway, what's the motherfucking deal? Who we got called into the den this evening?
It's Dan, bro.
Dan, the motherfucking man with the plan. How you doing this evening, Dan?
I'm out here, man. Just getting ready for these 2 tests. I got one Thursday, then one Friday. The one Friday's going to piss with me, essentially. It's the algebra test, and it was like 25 questions. I'm going to work on study guide after I'm done with this call. So my semester's over after that, so that's a good thing.
Oh, man,
then I can sleep for 2 weeks straight, then get ready for fall semester, and just doing a thing,
Yeah, I ain't worried about it. You're gonna ace the test, Dan. You're gonna feel good about it and be able to relax and not even worry about it.
No, I appreciate that, man. I'm trying to see my niece and nephew this weekend too, and visit my dad because there was a storm rolled to Virginia recently, and he was worried to make sure I was all right because I just finished moving and everything. So I'm good though. Just make sure my family's all right too. That's the main thing.
Absolutely. So what are your thoughts? Did you get a chance to see the footage? Did you get a chance to? If you did it change your thoughts on it? I mean, I'll let you speak. Just what are your thoughts on this leaked footage?
The thing is, what I think is not going to matter. The narrative has already been set, and they've already committed to action. And they're going to keep on going. It doesn't matter how many funerals they had for him. Doesn't matter how many millions of dollars were funneled to certain organizations through charities. Well, I wouldn't say charities because I think Broderick pointed out the certain charity we're talking about, BLM, is not recognized as like a nonprofit. I think he mentioned that 5013C. I can't remember the exact terminology for it, but he was on the money about that. It definitely changes because I remember when I first called in when these quote unquote protests first started, I thought the cop was in the wrong, but after seeing that footage, I'm like, maybe I was in the wrong. I'm willing to admit when I'm wrong. Absolutely. So I guess I jumped the gun, but I should have seen it coming when they didn't show the whole camera footage. You know, I just. But yeah, the prepaid called it. I think they overcharged him. If he did the toxicology report to show that he had a lot of stuff in his system, was a meth and a bunch of other shit in there. I don't know, man. Look, I'm sorry that happened to him, but I think this shit's just gonna keep continuing because they overcharged him, like Prepaid was talking about. I'm in agreement with them on that notion. Absolutely, they overcharged him. And just Riots Part 2. Just get ready for that.
No. And so
here's the thing, though. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
And I'm saying that even with this new information, you still think the people will riot if Chauvin walks? Are people really going to be that ignorant?
Well, I mean, like now this
every
thing I take it
victim
right.
is going to be MLK spotless clean, and still the police were wrong.
There's so many cities going through riots and tearing their own assholes up. I'm just, oh, my bad.
So, like, in a situation like this, with the people like this, do you think that, the people who kind of sparked this movement knew about or probably had an idea that something like this was going on and they took advantage of it? Or do you think that maybe they were just as clueless as everyone else, but they felt like it was a real tragedy and, needed to spread the word about it? Or do you think they capitalized?
I think a lot of the people on the ground, I think the majority of them thought it was a tragedy and let their emotions wrap themselves up. And that's something I think a lot of us are guilty of, letting our emotions jump out of our mouths without thinking, and actions as well. And that has had grave costs. I believe, $500 million plus in damages to Minneapolis, which President Trump has already said you're not getting emergency relief for that. This was not a natural disaster. Godzilla coming through and tearing your city up would have gotten relief. But this shit, no. Fuck that. No. And I agree with him on that. I mean, but people need to understand, like, this is dependent on the states and their action. It's not all going to fall on the federal government. The reason the federal government got involved in a lot of these places when they started firebombing federal buildings, then the feds had to get involved. I know Trump threatened Seattle with that, and Portland too. Portland they had to because they had judicial firebombings of federal buildings and things like that. And Seattle, he threatened about it, but the only reason they actually got involved in Seattle is because they showed up at the mayor's house. Shows how, about it she is. Summer loved my ass. It's a bag of fuck, bro.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. They're all with it until it gets, dangerously close. Then that conversation changes.
Yeah, but I mean, I think the cop should have held more restrained. I don't think it should have been on like that. But I don't know why I try to jump out the car. There's so much I don't understand. But when you're in the throes of drug addiction, never mind addiction, actually using drugs, your rationality is out the window.
Yeah, depending on what was going on, depending on how you respond to stuff. I mean, again, like I said, I didn't know black people were out here using meth. That's still a new thing to me, but hey, it is what it is. It's 2020. But again, like, I don't know how it makes you respond. Again, you may be feeling one way and, getting restrained and restricted. I know people get paranoid and panic, and it is what it is. Like I said, you can say anything. Do I think, and again, like I said, I don't think that absolves, the officer of what he did. It was a significant amount of time to be, still kneeling on somebody. But like I said, I think it kind of it changes the narrative. Like I said, I don't think you get to use the racism premise so much. Like you just took him out. Like it could have been a situation of, again, hey, this guy's just unruly, and we just trying to, get a situation where until he ultimately calms down. Or, I think that you're going to have other angles in which you can play. And, again, like I think it's that ultimately it's going to benefit the officer in his case more so than anything else. Yeah.
Because they went above and beyond with the charges. I mean, they charge everybody. I understand everyone getting charged there for dereliction of duty, whatnot, things like that. But, yeah, I think they might overcharge them. And Minneapolis, what's left of it's going to have some more issues, and I'm just glad I don't live there, because the people who lost their businesses, the people who lost people they love, because a lot of people died in these riots. They stopped being protests after day 3, in my humble opinion, and from what the footage I've seen. You know, they didn't have to go through it again. At this point, who's held accountable for this? It should be the people in charge. And I'm not talking about President Trump, because, look, people need to understand the difference between state and federal. You know, when something pops off in a city, the mayor has to take care of it. When something pops off in a, you know, a state, the governors have to take care of that. The president should be the last one to take care of it. He's had meetings with governors over the COVID thing. They're putting all this on Trump. And here's the thing. A lot of people are using these riots and this virus to their advantage. A lot of subversive techniques are being used. And if you look at the BLM website, they mention the names of people like Trayvon Martin. We all remember that young man. George Floyd, Ahmaud Arbery. Even though those weren't cops that were involved in that. Those were just 2 white dudes. They use these names, Breonna Taylor, and I could go on that, but I'm not going to, because it did take too long. They use this as a beachhead to float whatever things they're talking about in there. This is a beachhead right here. And they float whatever in there to destroy the patriarchy, destroy the nuclear family, all this. They're funneling that in there underneath this guise, their shield of racism, in my humble opinion. They use these things as shields. They use dead bodies as shields so they can promote whatever they want to push, no matter how destructive it is in the long run, no matter how short-sighted it is. And we're going to see the cost of this in a few years, if we're not going to see it by the end of this year. We'll see what happens.
Do you think some people kind of want to undermine? I feel all these things are, you know, I think we would agree that, especially not only undermines the black community, but definitely undermines the fabric of America as a whole. Do you think that there are people here that really seek to tear the country down from the inside?
Yeah, absolutely. Or maybe just destroyed to a point enough to where certain people get blamed, and then they put other people in power, and we'll see where that goes. That's it. But I've been on some really hella conspiracy theory shit just this past like month and a half. I'm trying to leave it alone so I can focus on school and my family and things like that. You know, because that's the important thing. I can't control the world. All I can control is my actions. I hold myself responsible for my actions. You know, I can blame other people for setting me in a certain position, but I walked into that position. I may not have seen the end results, but I should have been smarter. It just really makes me rethink my last lot of decisions I made when you start taking responsibility for your actions, which I've been doing this for a while, but there was a time when I did. And you don't have any power when you don't have accountability for yourself. You need to have accountability for your actions. A lot of these communities that got torn up, people need to be accountable for what they did to their own communities. Even though some people did come in from other communities, you know, these weekend rioters, which is fucking insane, and fucking Antifa assholes. I think the thing that angers me the most is like with the media. It's like they say like these were peaceful protests. $500 million damages do not come from peaceful protests. This is insane. This narrative is. But these are but most communities are destroyed were majority, you know, inner city black communities. Like that low income housing place they burned down the first week of the riot. That probably been a lot of black people have probably been in that nice new low-income housing project that they burned down. It was an apartment, whatever it was. They burned that down. They burned down the Rite Aid, the CVS, and you got old people who need pharmaceuticals. Correct. They got to take buses instead of walking to there. Like, this is insane. Like, this is so short-sighted what they were thinking of. I don't understand this logic. It's emotions. Look, you think all that shit you burned down is going to revive all these slave owners and racists and Bull Connor and Ronald Reagan so you can, you know, it's going to revive them so you can kill them again in the name of black power. That's not going to happen. I don't know why these people were thinking that. But people are using these emotions to their advantage. And it's about 10 minutes, actually 11 minutes now, so my apologies. I don't want to hold you up. But all I got to say is, man, look, if you don't control yourself, someone will control you. Correct. A lot of people are being used as puppets. That's been my opinion on the matter, and I think there might be some facts to prove my point. And that's all I really got to say.
All right. Well, Mr. Dan, I appreciate you getting the calls up off, and I agree, man. You better get yourself under control. You better get some discipline about yourself, especially. We'll get into it on another stream or something. I'm telling you, I really do just. I'm probably in the same boat as you on some of the things you're thinking. I just think it's going to get interesting, to put it nicely.
Yeah, facts, bro. Facts, man. Just take care of you and yours, take care of your family, love your family, and, some friends, but don't be hugging everybody and shit. There's some virus around and shit,
You get a ticket for that shit. Make you pay $1,000. Then they'll lock you up with the virus.
Actually, one more thing. I'm glad we just mentioned that. So, explain to me, I've seen a bunch of protesters with BLM shirts on twerking and shit in the middle of the street. So that was fine. But people protesting to open their business back up, that's wrong. Explain to me what the difference is, because viruses don't care what kind of protest you're in. It's just a protest. Or I don't understand this thing. Maybe I don't know. I guess viruses, viruses are, I guess, anti-white. I don't know. I don't know anymore. Man.
I mean, we got smartphones, we got smart homes, shit, smart lights. I mean, we got smart viruses now, so they just know. When to attack and when not to. They're respectful. They've developed manners. So, hey, these events, these causes, they're social justice viruses. That's what we got. So, there's certain causes they support, so they won't show up and they won't infect people who support those causes at those times. But any other time, your ass is grass. That's kind of how it works. I don't know.
I guess so. Oh my God. Well, yeah, let me go and get off, man. I'm gonna get cracking on this algebra and study crap. God.
No, that's a bad one, Mr. Danny, man. Well, good luck. You know what I'm saying? Like I say, I ain't really worried. Like, I ain't gonna say good luck. I know you got it, so I ain't even tripping. But on your tests and everything like that, and like I say, and get yourself a much deserved break.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate that. Dan, y'all be safe. Grace, Sarah, Belle, shout out y'all. Shout out prepaid. Y'all be safe, man. Hug your babies, all that good stuff.
Absolutely. Danny, man, I appreciate the call, sir.
Thank you very much, sir.
What's the motherfucking deal? We got calling in to the den this evening.
What's good, Honcho?
Pre-motherfucking paid Mike. What's the motherfucking deal? Man, how you been prepaid?
Man, I'm blessed, man. I knew this day was coming. I just sit back and you knew this day was coming. You knew it was coming. When all the grand hysteria broke out, I told everybody. I said, until you get all the evidence, man, it's going to be a lot of people with egg on their face. A whole lot of people. People ask all the time, how do we get President Trump? How do we get Trump? And I explain to people. Because Trump said something that resonated with me for years. The media is the true enemy of the people. Yeah. And when he said that, it stuck with me. Because I was like, what are you talking about? And then he just keeps showing you how these people mislead you. They mislead you. They flat out lied to you. They didn't confuse it. They flat out lied to you. We're getting the George Floyd body cam now. How long has everybody else had it? How long has government officials had it? How long has local government had it? How long has police chiefs? All these people had that. How long has the media had it? They knew. They knew. People, well, he didn't deserve to lose his life. Not a single person that deserved to lose his life. But I want someone to tell me a person geeked up on fentanyl and crystal methamphetamine is not going to act like that. This man is telling y'all to put him on the ground. Put me on the ground. I can't breathe. He in the back of the car. Ain't nobody touched him. Again, when people get mad and they was causing all kind of coons and stuff, and I was telling y'all, they're overcharging these cops and all this old bullshit. What did I tell y'all? This is the problem with the black community. We keep making martyrs out of people. We keep putting our worst as our first. We don't celebrate nothing that's good. We celebrate George Floyd. Why? Why? So for all you people who was fist pumping about the second autopsy report, what you gonna do now when the first autopsy report, when they told you he had fentanyl, when they telling you he had coronavirus, when they telling you he geeked up on methamphetamines, what you gonna say now? Let me explain something to y'all, how this whole jury thing works. Remember, the burden of proof is not on the state. No. You got the burden of proof. Y'all have got to prove now that this guy is guilty of what was he charged with? Second-degree murder and all of, and aiding, abetting a murder and all that bullshit. Let me explain something to y'all. When you're in that jury room and you listening to testimony, and they show that body cam, the full body cam, I want you to explain to me how those new cops who have been on the job for 3-4 days with aiding and abetting a murderer. How? How do you prove that? You've been working here for 3 shifts. How? So this narrative of this white supremacist Derek Chauvin with his white hood on, because he's a part of the cops, aka the white supremacy group. I want you to tell me, when did white supremacy kick in? When he showed up to respond to a fake $20 bill that he just happened to be called into? Or was it after this dude is geeked about these drugs and going crazy in the back of this car? How is that? You charged this guy with you charged the officer with all these felonies and shit, and you knew what it was. Because public perception mean that much to you. Why? We rallying around this shit. And Honcho, you kind of touched on it. You said, you're not gonna talk about black on black crime, and that makes me angry because we gotta stop doing that. Black on black crime is black on black crime. It's okay to say it. It doesn't matter what liberal talking points. It's true. And you can't say, well, it's not black, because you commit crime in your vicinity. But if we 13% of the population, we commit 58% of the murders, 78% of all violent crimes, how the fuck is it not black on black crime? And if you really break down 13%, that makes it 6% of black men, because black women ain't the ones robbing and killing each other. So 6% of us are doing 58% of the murders. Yeah, that's not gonna fly, bro. That's just not gonna fly. That's just not gonna fly. The whole BLM movement is a complete farce. It's a sham, and we all know it. I watched these same people make jokes about Herman Cain dying.
Correct. Oh, yeah.
He's not a black man. How does it work? So it's not the black lives that matter. It's the black lives that vote Democrat. The black lives who take a knee and celebrate what you celebrate and do everything you say. And when they get off the beaten path, they're no longer a part of BLM. You got the basketball player Jonathan Isaac decides he ain't gonna take a knee. He said he only kneel before God. Okay, so that's not sufficient to you. The man tears his ACL, y'all celebrating it. So when a black man decides to do something you don't agree with, BLM is out the window that fast.
Correct.
That's all it took. That's all it took. People are celebrating the dude, what's his name, Duck, DFW Duck, whatever the rapper name is. I'm not familiar with the guy. Yeah. Don't know him. Probably wasn't a good person. But surely his life couldn't have been no worse than George Floyd. This man been in prison 9 times. I don't know who DFW Duck is, but I know he never put a pistol to a woman's stomach, a pregnant woman's stomach, and robbed at gunpoint. But this is who we celebrate. We gave a convicted felon with coronavirus 5 funerals, and we didn't do half of that for Martin Luther King. All you fake progressive and militant, fake liberal, fake militant progressive people, and gave Malcolm X 5 funerals. We celebrating a convicted felon who was geeked up, a junkie. For those of you who don't understand drug usage, do you know where you are in your life when you're taking fentanyl and methamphetamine? You have surpassed crackhead stages.
Yeah, you done dealing. That's a dangerous combination.
That's the strongest drug there is. Fentanyl is the strongest drug there is. It fucks up your breathing as soon as you take it. But they say around 38% of people die the first time they use it. Do you know where you got to be in your life to take something that's going to kill you 38% of the time? First usage? Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ. So for me, my question is, when y'all decide to go tap the cities again and do all that, because the way reasonable doubt is going to be established is you establish reasonable doubt with the assistant officers. You can't justify none of them being charged. So now that reasonable doubt is established, and then Derek Chauvin beats his case, y'all gonna go tear up the city again? Because y'all ain't never stopped tearing up the city in the name of George Floyd, which we have no idea why. So y'all gonna tap the city again, even with all the evidence?
Oh, it's gonna happen.
And I don't want to hear shit about the man. And Honcho, let me tell you something right now. I don't want to hear shit about that man's tax return. This is America. Everybody keeps their taxes. That's what we do.
Oh yeah, I'm not saying it's neither here nor there. I just found it to be an interesting tidbit. Hey, look, I can't blame nobody who trying to keep some of their change from the government. You know, I ain't mad at you. You know, I'm not I can't give financial advice. Do it the legal way, y'all. But hey, you know, it is what it is.
It's the American way. We've been turning that 6 into a 9 since the beginning of time, bro. That's just what you do when it comes to your taxes. I'm not mad at anybody for doing that. My mind is just blown because the same way they were screaming and yelling and pushing out this narrative, now that the facts come out, how many times have seen them covered it? Anybody seen Don Lemon talking about it? And these black apologists talking about it? Anybody white guilt talking about it? Of course not. Because they're going to keep dismissing and saying, well, he didn't deserve to lose his life. Well, we didn't say he did from the first time. No one said that. American citizens, wake up. You are smart enough to accept all the facts and make your own conclusion. Stop letting these people spoon feed you what they want to spoon feed you. Stop it. Enough is enough. Enough is enough. This is what you go to the voting booth and decide that you've had enough. Stop letting these people tell you that these narratives is what's really happening when you know in the back of your mind it's just not true. We knew from the jump start, cops just not going out here beating up on niggas and putting a knee on the back of a nigga's neck and killing them just for no reason. They're hunting us down. No, they're not. It's just not true. The cop never hunted me. Never. Not true. Nope. Honestly, 99% of the time I get pulled up, I'm doing shit I ain't had no business. You know, maybe you're going to say it's with the system. You know, I like the speed. It is what it is. Car go fast. But don't say we're getting hunted down. Just not true. Just not true. When you decide to take facts and accept the facts as such, the world is going to become so clear to you. Your vision becomes clear because no one can cloud your vision anymore. But if you keep letting these motherfuckers who race pimp us get paid off our emotions, this shit gonna keep happening. A convicted felon, y'all think about this now if I get off this phone. A convicted felon who's been in prison 9 times has more murals than Kobe Bryant. Y'all think about that.
That's true.
Think about that. George Floyd kids are going to college for free. Kobe Bryant Trust Fund got to pay for his kids to go to school. Y'all think about that. One person donated millions. The other person was spending fake money. Something's wrong with this community, y'all. Something's wrong with this community. Honcho, you got anything else for me?
Nah, I think you didn't left with the mic drop right there. That's not got nothing for you.
All right, man. Be blessed, bro.
Man, appreciate it, man.
No problem.
All right, you have a good evening, sir. Man, very good point. Very good point. And it's wild. It really is, you know. And that's my thing. Like I say, you know, the death, like that's not even what we're speaking about. Like I think there was a general consensus on that with everybody from day one. Like, could it have been? Is this a preventable situation? Absolutely. But it's how the narrative turns. Does the narrative turn? Like, you have one side, do they continue to push that narrative? Do they continue to try to, force it? And again, did he do anything in that situation that, was warranted his death? No, absolutely not. But again, like, I think with people trying to use that angle of, it's just racist. And then old buddy, one of the wives used to be like, Miss, look, I know why he had to fucking cut out $500,000. He had to go on a former with Miss Minnesota, the little Asian chick that he was his wife, or well, the little Asian chick is his wife. Look, the supermodel shit ain't cheap. She probably costs a pretty penny, even though she probably an old Miss Minnesota. So you're accustomed to a lifestyle, you feel me? So, you gotta keep that lifestyle up. So, I ain't mad at him. You gotta get his money right. But no, that situation right there, though, I think is I think it changes things, right? Because the narrative that you had was George Floyd was a guy out there trying to change his life, trying to get things back on track, got caught up in an awkward situation, and then all of a sudden, you're seeing this video, and the video that most people watch, because we live in a day and age, we want to get the news the fastest way we can, and that fastest doesn't always mean complete or correct. You know what I mean? Sometimes people are out here just put out information to be the fast, to be the first one to say something just to say it. And so, I think that's kind of where we are. We put these people on these pedestals. We try to, look at this is what's going on, and then after a little while, after a little time goes by, you see that maybe this wasn't the best idea, or maybe this wasn't the one, right? But at this point, I think it is what it is. I think people have it set in their mind that they're going to believe what they believe. They've dedicated energy and effort to it. That's the thing with anything you do. If you dedicate time and effort, money to something, usually you're more likely to stay committed with it. I guess you have to start it, because that also, they're saying people who go and order courses and programs and shit, 90% of people don't even finish them. They just get them, right? So I guess that doesn't completely work in all cases. I guess you maybe have to get started with something. But when you commit energy to something, you're more likely, even if you start in the first way, more likely to see it through. So I think you have a bunch of people committed to this cause, and they're not going to let something like this distract them from it. I think they're going to still excuse me, pardon me. I think they're still going to continue to see it through. Man, there's a fucking South Park marathon today, and there was an episode I saw that I'd never seen before. I'm trying to remember what it was. It was actually two, because the toilet paper episode I never saw. It was something else. Random. But yeah, that's the thing, right? It's just you say, yeah, I agree, but that's the thing. That's part of it, And again, you can look at it. You can look at it at both sides. It depends, because I think certain departments pick and choose, and I'm not going to blame. I'm not going to blame the cops, because I think the video that first got released was by the store owner, right? And so that video that we were given is edited. And here's the thing. Like Prepay said, people knew this. If that was a video, right? And it's from the store. Did the store just lose power for a little bit and we just missed that? No. They saw a situation where, okay, this part don't look so good for George, but let's go ahead and just, we'll splice it here and we'll bring it back here, and it shows where, it was when the other recording happened. Obviously, you have people who do, digital forensics and things of that nature, who know when videos have been altered, who know when they have been, tampered with, again, edited, cut short, whatever. So people know. The media knew. The outlet in which he gave this to knew. The outlet in which he originally gave it to might have been the ones that said, hey, let's cut this out right here because this don't look so good, and go with this. And we're the first. So who knows who is the perpetrator in this situation? I'm almost more willing to lean on it being the media outlet, the news outlet, because now this adds more fuel to the fire, right? It's like now we got this breaking story because we know everybody's mad and outraged at this death. Now we got more stuff to put behind, to fuel the fire. So I wouldn't be surprised if the news had something to do, if they were the ones that probably edited the fucking shit. I apologize for all the yawning here. Well, like I said, and that's the thing. That's the crazy thing too. Now, I didn't hear when Trump originally said that the media is the enemy of the people, but over the last few months, really, Rona season, and I've watched the major news channels in the past, and you know, I prefer to read or whatever than to hear the news or whatever. But like, I would compare certain stories or certain events, and I say, oh, what are they saying over here? Okay, what are they saying over here? Okay, what are they saying over there? And I'm like, all right. But with this whole Rona thing, I'm just like, you know what? I'm going to. I would actually, for a little while, I was getting up every morning, and I was cutting it straight on the news, which I do not fucking advise you to do. It was a book I read, and it talked about this guy, and he talked about how he just things that add negativity and like, not depression in your life, but things that fuck up your flow. And he's like a professional, and I'm trying not to say too much, 'cause, I know the name of the book, I know his name, but because I want to talk about it at a later date. But he basically is just talking about, you know, all these things that we do that we think are normal, but they're really like impacting your mind. And I think a lot of this shit is getting. I mean, and that's what I've been noticing. Like with this whole situation, the Rona situation, just with politics, and I've just been looking. I'm just like, a lot of this shit just ain't making no goddamn sense. Like the politics, I think we've gotten away from, like, as a whole, wanting solution. Like, it's definitely party over the people at this point, you know, for the majority of folks. Like, but I don't think it's about like solutions anymore. It's about it's power. And again, I get it. You know what I'm saying? You know, especially in the political arena, you gotta have it, or you just ain't getting shit done. But I don't think it's about the people. You know, and again, like I say, so there's going to be some things that are going to happen. I mentioned slightly with Dan. Like I said, I just think real soon. I think it's going to get real crazy. But every day I was getting up, watching the news, watching, you know, how Fox was covering, how the MSNBC was covering, how CNN was covering, you know, these stories. And it was just like crazy, depending on how, you know, the market was acting that particular day, what angle they would choose to cover. Like, the other information, you know, the counters and death statistics, like all those things remain remotely close and the same. So the facts are whatever were there. But the way, you know, when the briefings were being spun, the way, just everything was just like, I'm just looking at the media, I'm just like, man, it's so much fucking bullshit. They're really like feeding us so much fucking bullshit. You know what I'm saying? And we eat it up, we consume it. Somebody talked about a while back about diet. You feel me? And diet, you know what I'm saying, is not just the food that you consume. Diet is also, like, say, the things that you take in, the information you take in, the books you read, the music you listen to, the environment in which you put yourself in. Like, these, wow, that's crazy. And that's what I'm saying. That's why Professor Trips will send me something disgusting. But I hate you, Trey. Like I say, fucked up my train of thought. But the media and how they're impacting us, man, like it's disgusting. They're fucking us up. They're really, really fucking us up. It's not necessarily the politicians. Like, they're bad too. Like, I think they're shit. Like, I think there should be term limits on everything. Right? Oh, it's fucking yawning. Let me see something here. I think we make about an hour and a half tonight instead of a full 2. I don't know. I'm like starting to yawn more and more. I don't want to be fucking yawning all in the thing. Like, but it's just it's like the hype that these channels are putting behind the media that puts behind them. Like, don't get me wrong. I keep forgetting the damn ring. What's the motherfucking deal? Who we got called into the den this evening?
Honcho was prepaid again.
Already. What's the matter?
I called back because I wanted to clarify something because I didn't get a chance to speak on it. Somebody in the den kept saying, why they hold back the evidence? Why they hold back the evidence? They're not holding back the evidence. What's going on is that you have to wait till discovery is being had. Once discovery is being had, basically, you'll turn over all the evidence you have. Once all the evidence is turned over, it's authenticated, nothing's been altered. Now the public is ready to consume it. So even though we're just not getting a full 18-minute body cam, what we're seeing, the media has already seen all this. This is just breaking news to us. They've been had it. So when they decided to overcharge these officers, they had all the evidence already. They just did it anyway. Because what's going on is that they tired of y'all burning down the CVS. So they figured if we charge them, niggas stop blowing up the target. But of course that didn't work.
No. Not at all.
You can't please the motherfucker who only wants to see the world burn. And they found it out the hard way. Now what's gonna happen is they come down, get an actual impartial jury, they find him not guilty, now they're gonna burn the city up for real. Not because it's the right thing to do, but that's just what niggas want to do.
Yes.
That was the whole game plan. This was it. You know what I'm saying? We was kids, Honcho. You remember the Rodney King thing.
Mm-hmm.
He was geeked up on PCP. Well, of course he got his ass whooped. He couldn't feel nothing. And people still burn the city down. They burned down LA for that. Like, we burned it down for a junkie? You know what I'm saying? I get it. I'm not saying a man deserves to get his ass whooped when they whooped his ass, but he can't feel nothing.
Yeah.
I never even knew how strong PCP was as a kid because that was a pure junkie drug.
Yeah.
But I remember a very vivid episode of Cops. It was a black dude who was butt naked on PCP, and he ran through a wooden fence like a cartoon. You know how they run straight through the thing, you see their body print? He did that, and I couldn't believe it. And from that point, I said, no wonder they beat the shit out of Rodney King. They was nightsticking Rodney King. He was still fighting. Do you know how high you got to be to fight through some shit like that? He fought through the tasers, the nightsticks. He was unstoppable. Nigga was a freight train. What you expect him to do? But I just don't know what y'all are expecting from these people. Again, we have got to stop putting our worst first. We just got to stop doing it. These type of things wouldn't happen if we stop this shit. If nothing else. People in the den, if you get nothing else, let it start with us. Let us be the people who say, you know what? What happened was fucked up, but I'm not finna run with that narrative. I'm gonna just wait and see. I'm gonna just sit back and wait till all the evidence come out. Because I'm telling you, if it starts with us and it just affects the people around us, we will stop looking so goddamn stupid in the end. Like, the crazy part is, Honcho, we don't even know how much of the fentanyl and the methamphetamine was in the system. We just know some of it. I mean, of course, he had alcohol, and then he had the weed. That's minor compared to the shit he had going on. Well, if he had his excessive amount, this motherfucker probably didn't even know where he was at.
Yeah.
Come on, y'all. This dude don't even know where he at. And we out here tearing up, well, not we. They, cause, I ain't finna tab shit. You know what I'm saying? I ain't finna tab nothing. And then, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, this whole idea of the revolution, you know, it's a revolution. For what? For who? What has changed? Besides, you done gave BLM all this motherfucking money, and they done took care of Joe Biden, with his fucking Joey Shakes over here. Besides, y'all helping out George Shake's campaign, what's changed? I don't feel nothing. I don't see nothing. Hell, Bill de Blasio in New York, did the Black Lives Matter from Trump Towers. Come to find out, he didn't even have a permit for it.
Wow.
They done painted over all that shit. So what did y'all get from this? What did we get? White people taking knees in Starbucks? Trader Joe's telling us they ain't gonna make Aunt Jemima, they ain't gonna sell Aunt Jemima syrup mix anymore? Like, what do we get from this, bro? NBA players wearing Black Lives Matter t-shirts and say their name. They were just in China. People getting killed in the middle of the street. They said nothing. Like, come on, dog. What do we give besides tokenism? What do we give besides tokenism, bro? Come on, y'all. Baseball putting up Black Lives Matter. Come on, bro. Race car drivers yelling that it was a noose. The shit been there for 2 years. Shut up, y'all. Come on. Wake up. Ain't none of this shit real. Don't none of this shit mean nothing. On September 1st, you gonna have to pay your rent. If you don't pay your rent and your mortgage, you can't live here no more. That's the way the real world works. Don't none of this shit mean nothing. Ain't no revolution.
Man, that's great. I'm glad you mentioned the rent. Did you see what they were doing over? I want to say it might have been New Orleans, but in Louisiana, they basically reactivated where the landlords could start filing evictions again. The people blocking the landlords from going into the courthouse.
Come on, man. Yeah. Come on, man. This and Honcho, this is the wild part about it. These people were given months to not pay rent, to basically hold off, right?
Correct.
Well, guess what? You got to pay the piper sooner or later. And all these people got stimulus checks. They can literally look up your name and see if you got a stimulus check. What you do with your money? Oh, you thought the revolution was going to be televised. You won't have to pay rent. You're going to live here for free. No, you can get the fuck out. Well, you can get the fuck out. I promise you that. You're going to get the fuck out. Listen, I don't care what dire situation you're in. If you got 2 or 3 months to pay your rent, they've given you, some ability to get back on your feet, you are doing better than 98% of people in America.
True.
Because if you live in one of my properties, if you're 2 days late, let me tell you something. I'm going to go get that padlock and put it on your door. You don't live here no more. Everything inside here belongs to me. You don't get 3 months. Period. I'm sorry. That's just not how we doing business around here. What's wrong with you? And then they up here blocking and fighting the people from coming to file the paperwork. Well, that's fine. You do know they can file it electronically, right?
Exactly.
You have to go in going to the courthouse is more of a courtesy to you. I'm trying to help you out. I can file this motherfucker electronically. I promise you I can. It will be certified, and you will be put out. Now, this is the wild part about that thing, Honcho. Instead of being a wokey and fighting the people from going to the courthouse, how about y'all take some of that Black Lives Matter money and help those people? I mean, because you got, what, 500 million?
Shit. They got what?
They better pay for a lot of rent.
I thought they got almost 2, because who was it? Somebody dedicated a whole $1 billion to them. And then you had...
You showed right. Bezos' wife did.
Oh, it was right.
Bezos' ex-wife showed did.
Like crazy stuff. And so that's what I'm saying. Like, they got a ridiculous amount of money, but I've yet to see anything come to fruition.
Which is mind-boggling, right? Because you got $2 billion, and the little 9-year-old kid that got killed, his mama and them putting up GoFundMes. So they don't does his Black Lives not matter? Like how does it work? Or what about the little girl in Atlanta got killed by the peaceful protest, quote unquote? When they smoked the little 8-year-old girl shot in her chest and her back. So is it not BLM? But we can't question it, because if we question, that means that we're going against the movement and we're coons.
Correct.
Motherfucker give you $2 billion, you should have a whole spreadsheet of where the money's going. Oh, my bad. Y'all was bonding out the people who was burning down shit. That's who y'all was getting out of prison, the people who was tearing up shit.
Exactly.
Lord have mercy. Lord have mercy. Listen, black people. Y'all better wake the fuck up and start denouncing this shit. Get away from this shit, man. If it don't, listen, bro. If it quack like a duck, it walks like a duck, it ain't a mongoose. I promise you it's not. People not even tricking us no more. We tricking ourselves.
Pretty much.
Y'all done donated all y'all motherfucking money to the people who you know ain't doing right. Anybody who on their website that they want to go do away with the nuclear family, you need to get away from that. You need They telling you we don't need nuclear families. You gotta get away from these people, man. Get away from these people.
Yeah.
They telling you 2 women should be raising families and shit. Look, if you're a lesbian and you got a wife, or I'm fine with that. That's your decision. Be happy. But that is not the lifestyle that you should be striving to have. You knew it was wrong when you decided to do it. Now, you're free in America, do as you please, but we shouldn't be getting away from 2-parent household with a mother and a father raising their family. We shouldn't be trying to tell a woman that she don't need a man don't need a woman. We got to get away from that. If that's what you're standing for, I don't want to do with it. As soon as you ask about BLM, I told y'all, man, don't mix me with none of that shit. I don't want to do with the movement, the organization, the T-shirts, the payments, nigga. Don't put me with none of that shit. I'd rather ride with the Blue Lives Matter people before I ride with them motherfuckers. So, and I'm scared of cops.
Man. Quick thing that Heidi brought up. Did you see that the video of that explosion?
Ooh, that bombing, yeah, man, that's hard to watch, bro. The sonic boom alone was like, that's crazy. Probably the wildest one I seen was a dude who was driving the car. Yeah. He was driving away, and the sonic boom, yeah, bro. With the water, how the boom, like grab the water, bro. Man, like shit. Okay, so put in retrospect. You look at something like the Lebanon bombing, right? You look at something like that, and now you put in retrospect to what's going on with George Floyd. Look at how those people reacted to it. Look at how we reacted to a criminal, to a felon, convicted felon. Look how they react. Look how we react. That shows you the difference of the people. But again, in America, because we're so free, we're so free when we allow a motherfucker to cage our mind. You ain't gonna tell a motherfucking Lebanon there wasn't a bombing. They're gonna be like, nah, that's bullshit. Or you ain't gonna tell them, oh, well, that happened because of the president. But in America, you can blame the motherfucking a global pandemic on the president of the United States.
Correct.
This is a wild place we live in, bro. And people will tell you it's his fault. It's 150,000 deaths on it. It's on him. It's on him. I said, well, damn, was 80,000 died from the flu on Obama? No, it's different. Okay, well, I'm just asking questions. I just be asking. I don't be knowing how none of this shit works. I don't know how none of this shit works. At this point, I'm just confused. So, man, I don't know, Honcho, man. What I will say is, if I got this phone, bro, is that I just need all y'all to wake the fuck up. Wake the fuck up. Like Dan mentioned, if a person go outside with a mask on and throw their ass in a circle and be twerking in front of cops, why can't we go to church? If these masks work so goddamn efficiently, why people can't go to their small business and go back to work? I'm just confused. I just want to know how this thing works. The people important that can go out here, and tab shit for 70 days straight. We can't go to the gym. I don't know how none of this shit works anymore. I'm going to keep searching. If y'all come up with the answers, let me know immediately, bro.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure it out too, because it's all wild. I mean, certain funerals are allowed, other ones ain't. I'm trying to figure out the rules on that, and I mean, it's just a whole crazy deal right now.
We can't go to church on Sunday, but y'all can go to John Lewis' funeral, and Obama can use a southern accent that he just magically found on Amazon, I guess, and bought it, and campaign for Joe Biden cognitive disorder having ass. I don't know, bro. This some wild shit, man. Oh, Honcho, man, I'm gonna send you a video today of Biden's latest interview with a black dude. He asked him, did he take a cognitive exam? He said, no, I ain't take no exam. It's like if you do cocaine and you take a test, or he didn't tell the black dude, are you a junkie? Well, why you ask me that? He zones out and like just goes on his tangent. Then he was like, no, I didn't mean to say that. I didn't want to say that. And I'm like, bro, what is wrong with this man? Like, bro, listen, if you are related to Joe Biden, if y'all know somebody who close to him, put him in one of them hospice or hospice, whatever it's called. Put him in one of them things, bro. It's over for him. This man is done.
Man, that's something we're gonna talk about real soon. Cause that's something I've been thinking. It's something with Joe that I got a real big question especially when the win, you know, I don't know if you didn't pick yet or whatever, I'd have missed it, but whenever you get the VP, we got a real important question to talk about. We got. It's gonna be a real good show.
Look, man, my grandpa had dementia, bro, and the shit is some of the most saddest thing you ever seen in your life, because a person used to be so vibrant and full of life, and now you look in their eyes and they have no idea where they at. A person you've been around your whole life, they don't even know your name anymore. This is where Joe is headed. And this ain't some, we just say, no, bro. I'm looking at this, man, I'm telling you right now, Joe might not be here for another year, maybe 2 years before he's gone. He got that same look in his eyes Pat Summitt had to look in her eyes right before she left the earth. I'm telling you, man, this is bad, bro. So if all else fails, man, at least pray. If y'all don't do enough, man, pray for the man, because he ain't gonna be here too much longer. I can tell you that now. So we'll see what this vice president pick goes with it, man. But that's good for me, Honcho. I'm gonna let somebody else get in here.
I really appreciate the call, man.
All right, bro.
Yeah, have a good evening. You don't take Adderall right before the base. You're a terrible personality. Let's see. All right, let's fix that. That's all in order. This is what I'm thinking, right? Because like I said, not necessarily see right there. People like Honcho actually went live tonight. I didn't even plan to call. But like I said, it may cut a little bit short and slide to the Discord. We're gonna talk about Biden real soon. It might be tomorrow. Cause I keep thinking I'm gonna miss tomorrow, but I'm not. I'm gonna miss the sauce tomorrow, but I should be back in time for. I should be. I won't be lying to you, because stranger things have happened. Like I say, we'll hop in the Discord here. Everybody's welcome. I want to say one thing, right? And that one thing is, you dim folk are the greatest. If nobody's told you today that you're special, that you mean something, that you're worthwhile, that you have value, you do, right? Like, I don't know how people look at things or whatever. And I say it from time to time, but I really do look at this as a community. Like the channel thing, that's cool, whatever. But this is a community. This is a different feel, and each and every one of you, are important to me. I just thank y'all for being here, man. Just like I say, I know everybody has lives, everybody has stuff going on. I don't expect everybody to make every stream. Like, that's irrational. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's not something I'd ever expect. You do? Cool. Excellent. I appreciate it. But, it's good to see y'all when you can make it. Again, it's good to hear from y'all when you call in. It's good to chop it up with y'all in the Discord. Like I say, I've been doing this little thing here for a while now. And from time to time, I just like to let y'all know I appreciate y'all. You know what I'm saying? Y'all are, it's weird to say this. Like, again, I never thought I'd accept it. Was never a out there talkative type person. But y'all are a part of my life, and I appreciate y'all for being here, man. But like I said, we're going to slide a little early. We're going to slide to the Discord. I'm not getting there and talk some shit. There's been a fucking South Park marathon going on all day. I may catch one more of those. One day. Give me in August. Give me by my birthday in September. All right, I got you. I put on a lot of weight. I came fresh out of jail, straight into quarantine. It was a bad deal. That was the worst fucking transition ever. So there's that. But man, good to see you, Miss Cardi. How you doing? But I fucks with y'all, man. I do appreciate you. So to the Discord we go. If you're not in the Discord, I'll put the link in here to make sure y'all can slide up in there and come chop it up with the info, man. Like I say, give me a second. Let's just do that. If you are not a part of the Discord, I encourage, Heidi. No, actually, Heidi needs to stay out so we can continue to talk about Heidi, and she'll never see any of the stuff. We have a safe space from Heidi in the Discord. So let me. I put the link to the voice chat. Let's do it like that. So that way folks ain't got to push no buttons on how to get into it. Beep. Boop, boop, boop. Right there. So, with that being said, I appreciate y'all and thank y'all for all the love, for showing up this evening, for just being a part of the conversation tonight. Real quick about the nuclear family. I'm going to read this what Trill sent me, because I did intend to do that. And then we're going to sign out. Because it ties into what Prepay was saying about if anybody, people trying to get rid of the nuclear family. So, and again, like I said, it bothers me the most when it's black people who do this, knowing that it's already like a disgustingly low amount. There is no black nuclear family anymore. So then, like, those who are trying to undermine that are the worst people. But it says, seeing women who are divesting away from men is amazing to me. Choosing to co-parent with other women, to choosing to not have kids, prioritizing community and platonic relationships with other women. There's so many ways to live. You don't have to have a nuclear family. This shit got basically 74,000 likes and 15,000 retweets. That's the dumbest shit I've ever fucking heard. That sounds like a depressed cat lady to me, honestly. Like, the rest of this conversation will be had in the Discord. Because, yeah, I'm going to say some shit. Fucking wake up tomorrow and fucking channel demonetized. So, I'm already in there. I see Big M is in there. He's probably talking shit, don't know what's going on. But, y'all be cool like y'all be cool. I appreciate each and one of y'all coming through. Y'all ain't got to go home. I'm imploring y'all to come into the Discord and we can keep up the conversation. But with that being said, I gotta go home. I gotta get the fuck up out of here. Shit, I'm already in the Discord. Y'all get the fuck out. I'm gone. What kind of shit is this? Just lingering. Y'all look. Yeah, and then y'all better not have no shoes on in my den. You know what I'm saying? Look, take the shoes off at the front door of the house. You'll be walking all through the house with your dirty ass shoes and shit. I got grass. All the shit motherfucker just swept. The shit don't make no goddamn sense. What's really going on? You know what I'm saying? It's really here. Well, thank you, Miss Stephanie. Via the Discord, kicking it. I gotta slam down. I'm talking so much to music and cut out. I'm talking about people wearing shoes in the house, like I'm Roddy Ricch or some shit. All right, I'm out of here. No, I'm not. Okay, nah, I'm gone.